Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Moore and thank you for tuning in for our Global Citizens Learning Community virtual information session. Today we're going to be discussing different requirements you'll have for being in the GCLC and what to look forward to and benefits that you'll receive this upcoming year. To get us started, I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. So like I said, my name is Ashley Moore. I'm an academic success coach and learning community coordinator here on the Newark campus for the Office of Retention, Student Success Initiatives, and Center for Student Success. Going back, I graduated in 2020 here from the Newark campus. I decided to stay all 4 years because I like the campus environment. I got my undergrad and also a minor here during my time. I was a first generation college student, so that means I was the first in my family to receive a bachelor's degree, and my first semester did not start off great. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I had trouble accessing resources or knowing where to find them, and building a community which I felt comfortable in. So during my second semester, I decided to get a student employment job, and I started off as an academic peer coach for a few different learning communities that we have here on the Newark campus, and I finished that until I graduated in 2020. So I have a little bit of experience with the Global Citizens Learning Community prior to graduating in 2020, and then after that I got a job in recruitment and human resources and decided to come back to the Newark campus because I loved higher education and supporting students during their first year and even beyond that during their time here at the Newark campus. So that is kind of where we left off at. I currently oversee 4 different learning communities, and aside from that, I work as a liaison for 2 faculty-led learning communities that are not directly correlated with our department and provide support there as well. As an academic success coach, I meet one-on-one with students to help with personal and academic resources, support, and all of those items. You could think of our office retention as in retaining students in the university. So whatever a student might come to me, I think of, okay, what are personal items and academic items that can help this student reach their goals or overcome any barriers they might be going through currently. So to give you a little bit more insight on what personal things that I might meet students on, they might come to me for financial support. So maybe they are struggling to pay their utility bill because they're living on their own for the first time while juggling going to school and maintaining a work-life balance. You could come to me for, students might have food insecurity, or they're trying to pay off their tire blew on their way to campus, and now we're working through getting them an emergency grant. Or it could be even something mental health related, because a lot of students struggle with their mental health going through a lot of changes with college and then juggling everything outside of college as well. Academically, I meet with students to help with procrastination, time management, study strategies, note-taking strategies, and things like that. I would say in my experience, students coming in their first year are going to struggle greatly, more so with time management and procrastination, just due to the changes in time that they're going to have and the flexibility with not being in classes all day now compared to high school, and then having a lot more gaps in figuring out how to manage that time properly and making sure you're getting your work done on time, and also hanging out with friends, working, and doing any other extracurricular items you might do on or off campus as well. And then feel free to email me at any time. That is my preferred method of contact on the last slide. But moving into learning communities and what you're going to expect this year, I want you to think about, what is a learning community? Obviously, you all signed up for the Global Citizens Learning Community, was accepted, and probably read through some of the characteristics or benefits with being in the GCLC this upcoming year. But I want you to think about your purpose and reason for applying. Was it potentially building a community here on campus? Is it for, you want to learn more about education abroad and get involved in it, or you want to learn more about different cultures and all those aspects? There's many different reasons students might join a learning community coming into their first year of college, or even after that when you transition to the Columbus campus, if that's your plan. But we, on the next slide, will kind of talk about what a learning community is and what its purpose is. All right, so like I said, you might have many reasons for joining a learning community or what drew you into the GCLC this upcoming year. But a learning community, by definition, is a group that students join based off their background, interest, or major, where they meet on a regular basis through events, courses, and they collaborate and build a community based off those background interests or major. So for the GCLC, students are commonly joining because they have an interest in learning about different cultures. They want to have support within, the community that wants to learn about different cultures, wants to do education abroad and those things. So focusing on a community where it's much broader and respecting others' differences and choosing to learn about others is what the GCLC's basis is. The GCLC is one of our newer learning communities. It started a couple years ago, but those that have been involved in the GCLC have received a lot of good feedback. When we've done our surveys at the end of the year, some of our quotes are, I enjoyed getting to know people from different backgrounds. I made great friendships I'll carry on at the Columbus campus, and the study tables were helpful when I needed guidance or an extra push. So all of these statements carry on for all of our learning communities. I think especially too, even focusing on the Columbus campus aspect, a lot of you will transition to the Columbus campus during your second year, maybe even after that if that's your plan. But those students meet in a learning community, they take those classes, they see each other each week, they bond at events, and then a lot of our students have actually found who their roommate's going to be when they go to the Columbus campus. So that's a huge draw, is you're making friendships that are not only going to just last, during your first year in college, they're going to last even after that. And you're going to find students that have similar interests than you, with you. So rather than in, high school where you have a lot of friends that come from, you have different identities, different interests. During your first year, you're really going to find students that really get what you're into, and it makes the whole purpose of being on this campus a lot better, and even transitioning onto the Columbus campus. So those are just a few of our quotes. There's plenty more, but we thought these ones were the best to kind of read off today. So I already kind of touched base on this, but the Global Citizens Learning Community is a program for first-year students that are coming out of high school that are interested in meeting and learning from different cultures and looking to engage in a world community, not just preferably like the community that they grew up in. So students are taking courses together, and we'll go over those courses later, but they incorporate knowledges on other parts of the world and other cultures and differences. So we're really focusing on the recognition of global interconnectedness within the GCLC. So moving on to expectations of our GCLC students, and I do want to say each of these bullet points are things that we choose because of our research and understanding of our learning communities that we've had for several years now. All of these expectations are at your own benefit. So for starters, register and attend GCLC courses for fall and spring semester. Most of you are pre-registered for the GCLC courses, and then you work in your other courses into our schedule. But we don't want you just to register for these courses. We want you to engage academically in the courses. So what that means is showing up to class, but not just showing up and sitting there and waiting for the lecture to start, asking questions, involving yourself and your faculty, and then engaging with your peers. Because like I said, this is a community, so you are going to get more out of this when you are really actively participating within the courses that you're in. And then consent to share information between campus professionals. What this means is, like I said, I'm an academic success coach, so I am personally all of your academic success coaches as a member of a learning community. And so what that means is I gain access and have conversations with the faculty within your GCLC courses. So if you are taking a course in GCLC and let's say you're either doing really well or maybe you've done poor on some of the exams or projects that you've submitted, I have active conversations with your faculty to see, where can we provide support or where can we give kudos to those students that are doing really well. So thinking about that kind of allows me to have access, but also on the contrary, if you come to me and let's say you are struggling with something or you have a barrier that you need to work through, I can then reach out to the proper resources on or off campus to allow you to, have that opportunity to overcome that barrier, depending on what it might be. But also, even if you're doing really well, and let's say you come to me and you want to talk about scholarships, or you need help with the transition to Columbus campus, or many other factors, I have then permission to talk with individuals on or off campus to benefit you within your goals or any barriers you might be struggling with or overcoming during your first year. Our next one is attend GCLC and all learning community events. So every month we do have events specifically for the GCLC, and then we have one month event for all of our learning communities. So like I said earlier, I have 4 learning communities that I directly oversee, and then 2 I work as a liaison for. Are all LC events. We invite all of the learning communities, and it's just a time for you to get to meet other students outside of your learning community, as well as the peers that you have in your learning community, do different things. I'll talk more about what the events entail and kind of the requirements of attending events later, but just know that we have multiple every month that you're invited to, and they're really nice. I would say, like, the expectation of you attending them, there's a whole purpose I'll go over in a moment. Take advantage of study tables. I do have a slide upcoming that will go over and explain what study tables are. So I will skip that for now, and then connect with your academic peer coach and then your academic success coach. So like I said, I'm your academic success coach, so just making sure you're checking in with me. If you have something that you need to bring to my attention, being proactive versus reactive, or if I reach out to you to either schedule a meeting or just, need to ask you questions, to be responsive in that aspect too, just so we can better support each other. And your academic peer coach is someone that will be your mentor your first year as well, that will periodically reach out to you just to check in and see how things are doing, or they might even provide opportunities that you might want to take interest in as well. So making sure you do all those things as expectations for your first year. So I mentioned some of our expectations for you as learning community students, but now we're going to talk about what do you get to be in the learning community. So the benefits and different things that you can take advantage of during your time in the learning community. All right, so going into learning community events, these are activities that are going to allow you to build connections and networks. So what that means is connecting with your peers within the learning community, outside the learning community, connecting with our staff as well as your faculty members within the learning community, and even in other learning communities as well. We also invite different individuals outside of the learning communities to come and speak to you too. So building opportunities for networking and having a community on campus during your first year. You are required to attend 1 cultural, 1 social event, autumn and spring semester, so that's 2 events per semester, a total of 4 events minimum that you need to attend during your first year. And the purpose of this is, we know by research and previous experience, students that are attending events or anything extracurricular outside of just attending classes and then heading home or back to your dorm are going to do better GPA-wise and have better graduation rates. So we know by requiring this, it's going to hopefully get you out of your comfort zone to come meet other individuals, learn about different things, and then have that community and support network during your first year where you do better academically. So with that being said, we are going to have our first event this upcoming summer. It's going to be Thursday, July 20th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. It's in person in McConnell Hall, which is the dorms on the Newark campus, and it's in the Jones Event Center. So right when you walk in, it is going to be from 5 to 7:30. We will provide food, and we'll have plenty of games and different things for you to get to know your peers coming in this first year. So I definitely recommend attending if you're able to. It's not required, but all of the learning communities are invited. So we definitely welcome you to come. There is an RSVP you can find on our website, but it's also should have been sent to you in an email as well. So feel free to RSVP if you plan on coming, or even if you think you might be able to come, but it's not definite yet. RSVP just so we have a head count on how much food we need to purchase and things like that. Outside of that, I do want to touch base on the last slide I forgot to mention. We do have, so our cultural and social events, some different ideas for like our social events that we do is we have a pumpkin painting event for all of our learning community students towards the end of fall semester, where if you RSVP, you get a pumpkin, you paint it. We have different activities for fall that you can come, and it's just a laid back event right before finals and right before fall break happens as well. And then we have a cultural dinner, which is a cultural event where it's potluck style, where everyone's invited to bring food from their culture, and then we all get to share different meals, talk about where our plate has come from and what it means to us through our culture as well. Another cultural event that we have for GCLC is through the Community Refugee and Immigration Center in Columbus, Ohio. I work closely with the director through collaboration, and he always comes out every spring semester to come and talk to our GCLC students, so you can get involved there through internships, volunteer work, and even potential job opportunities after college as well. Next on our list is our study tables. So these are supplemental instruction sessions that are given by our academic peer coaches. The best way I can explain it is it's a tutoring session in a way. We call them study tables, but these are led by the peer coaches who complete a tutor training program over the summer through our accredited program here at Ohio State Newark, and then they get ongoing training and support through the year while they're overseeing whatever course you might be getting in the study table for. So how this works is for your GCLC courses. So in the fall semester, it will be for Food and World History. We'll have an academic peer coach that will sit in on those classes during the same time you are each week, and then they will host an hour session each week to go over any notes, discussions, or things and materials that you might have talked about in Food and World History during that week or even the week after. They also help with midterm prep, finals prep, projects, any essays and things like that for those courses. They meet with your faculty, so each week they have a meeting with your faculty to discuss kind of insider knowledge on what do students struggle with on the finals, papers, or any material within the course? What are some, resources that students can utilize outside the classroom? And then insight on, what students might be doing really well in versus, they might need a little bit better of an understanding or touching more base on how the course is. They also have incentive, some of the instructors will give you extra credit for the study table. So if you attend them, you get extra points within their courses. And then, like I said, they sit in on the classes as well. So these are very important things. I think it's a huge benefit for you to go because it is peer-led. You get to meet with your other GCLC students that are attending. And my personal experience with students that are attending the study tables are students that probably don't need tutoring, but they keep going because they want the support, they want the different understanding, and they do well on the finals, exams, projects, and things like that. So definitely take advantage of those. I say start going to them during, the first week that we have them. Go to them periodically just to get, more knowledge, more understanding, and, connect with your peers. Another benefit is your academic scholarship that you get during your first year in the GCLC. So you get $500 that are used towards either service learning, education abroad, professional development, or even a research project. To qualify for that scholarship, you have to have your tuition paid off and a proposal approved by my office. So these scholarships are given either towards winter break or the end of spring semester, and we work together on it case-by-case basis during the fall and spring semester ongoing. So some students, to give you some examples, for service learning projects, we had students last year that wanted to host a food drive together, so they worked together to get fresh foods and non-perishable foods collected for local food pantries around the Newark area. We call it a service learning project because it's something that they're actually planning start to finish. So they decide, what are they going to do? Where are they going to do it? They get the flyers ready. They plan everyone's hours out. They make lists on what items they need. They reach out to the nonprofits to figure out, and coordinate a time and place and all of those items. And then they even host it themselves. So it's kind of fully up to them. I will say it is great because they get to use their $500 towards, building that fundraiser, but they also get to use it as a resume building experience and talk about how they did that, start to finish from just themselves rather than being organized through like a volunteer experience. Education abroad. Obviously for GCLC you do get priority consideration for education abroad. Not all students choose to do that, or maybe they might not be accepted right away, but spring semester and summer terms are when we do education abroad, so students will apply for that towards the end of fall semester, and if they're accepted they do get the $500 that will be geared towards their application fees, or if they decide to go, maybe paying for their plane ticket or any other expenses that they have on that trip. Professional development. We think about, like, I had a student last year who wanted to, they were going into public safety, and I think they were working on getting their EMT license, but they had to pay for the course themselves. So they were able to use their funding to help pay for their EMT license that would be going towards their major specifically. But we also had a student last year that wanted to start their own YouTube channel. I wasn't unfortunately able to just give them a camera for just developing a YouTube channel, but we were able to work together to purchase their camera, and they were then, help me out with marketing for the learning communities by taking pictures at some of our events. Or research project, we have students that might get involved in research here on campus and purchase items that way as well. Even like more professional development ideas, we had a student last year who they traveled a lot, and even over winter break, they went and hiked the Appalachian Trail instead of taking a break from academics and all of that. And they wanted to get involved with creating a radio broadcast through ham radio. So they used the $500 to get certified to create their own radio platform. So that way, when they're on their next trip and they're using ham radio, they can then broadcast to talk to different cultures around the world, which I thought was really cool. But yep, like I said, you have to have your tuition paid off. So if you're using the top program, that's why we reward the funds over the end of the semester. That way it's all paid off in theory. And then you and I work closely together to figure out like what's logical, what are you able to do with that funding, and how can we get it to you in a timely manner so that way you're able to use it for what you need. So more to come with that. We'll keep working on it over fall semester, but if you ever have questions, I'm happy to meet with you on that as well. Additional benefits that GCLC students get is academic peer coaches. I mentioned this earlier, but these are students that have either been through the program themselves or they've demonstrated that they've done well academically and have been involved on campus and kind of know their way around. So they are your go-to person anytime you need a student's perspective or you need help, finding a resource or getting connected somewhere on or off campus as well. We also allow them to take you out for coffee here on the Newark campus, so just meeting up to talk if you need to chat, things like that. The reason being is sometimes it's a little easier to talk to a student going through the same things because they're taking classes, they're doing well academically, and they've made it work with their schedule, off campus as well with friends, family, work, and all of those other responsibilities. So they're in the program, they're, in the program as in school, and they are there for you to connect to when you need it. And then we have workshop and lab sessions, so navigating campus resources, time management, critical thinking, learning strategies, test-taking strategies, stress management, and leadership skills. These are all things that I said my office works really strongly on. So we develop our first semester curriculum, putting a lot of these different sessions or workshops within the arts and sciences class. So you're getting all that information within class and working alongside with your peers, learning that information as well. And then we partner with campus resources and then close connections with staff, faculty, and guest speakers just to help benefit you during your first year and get you connected. As I mentioned earlier, our program for the GCLC started in 2020, so it is fairly new compared to our other programs, but those that have been in all of our learning communities have demonstrated better GPAs and better graduation rates compared to other students that were not in a learning community. The reason being is we constantly are doing research and taking student feedback after each year and changing our curriculum, changing our plans to make and meet student needs. That way you feel more comfortable and supported by your staff, faculty, and Ohio State as a whole. So here's just some photos from this past year and some of our events that we've had. Like I said, we have cultural events, but also social events to help enhance your experience. Then as far as GCLC courses go, all the courses that you're enrolled in fulfill requirements for your degree. The coursework that we have you in, you're taking with your peers, so this allows you to build relationships within the GCLC, but also with your faculty on campus. The faculty that we choose specifically for the GCLC are faculty that we know care about your success and they believe in the program. So they are going to do whatever they can to make sure that you're doing well in their course and that you're able to connect and build those relationships on campus. So for fall semester, you're going to take History 2702. This is Food and World History. It is a 3-credit-hour course, and the GE that it fulfills is theme sustainability is with Dr. Jim Weeks, and it's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 2:20 to 3:40 p.m. with all of your peers. So all 40 of you will be in that course each week. And then Arts and Sciences is the course that I instruct. It's our group studies course. It's 1 credit hour. It's required for all courses or students. And it is an elective course. So that is every Tuesday, 4:15 to 5:10 p.m. And the reason being is why we have this course. You can see it as like if you've ever been in any kind of club or organization or outside of class or your school, you have some sort of required meeting time, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So having our GCLC group studies course each week, it's 55 minutes a week. This is our regular meeting time. So instead of just requiring you to attend an evening meeting session each week without a credit and trying to work that around everyone's schedule, we build it in as a class time and you receive a credit. So if you plan on transitioning to the Columbus campus, this helps you out because you have to have 30 credit hours in a 2.0 minimum cumulative GPA to be able to transition to the Columbus campus. So this is graded satisfactory, unsatisfactory. So as long as you're attending the course, because it's heavily participation and attendance related, there's no outside requirements, you will get that credit hour. And then in the spring, we do have 2 other courses that you're required to take. The Religious Studies 2370 course is up in the air currently. We are looking at a course that might fulfill even more GEs, but it will be with the same instructor, Dr. Cash, who I will have a photo with in a moment. Same with Dr. Jim Weeks as well. But then you'll also take arts and sciences as well again. So each semester we do change the curriculum for arts and sciences. So in the fall, we're going to be focusing more on getting engaged, knowing what your campus resources are, and having you, talk and listen to individuals around campus and on the Columbus campus. And then in spring, we're focusing on okay, what's the second year transition look like? If you're planning to go to Columbus, we're helping you try to prepare to, potentially enroll in your major if that is the case. And register for housing. We do career development as well, or even if you plan on staying at the Newark campus, what that is going to look like for you too. So this is Dr. Jim Weeks. He is awesome, and then he has his bio here. I'm not going to read all of this, but if you're interested in pausing this to read it, or you can find it on our website under your faculty at osu.edu/GCLC, you can learn more about him as well. And then this is Dr. Cheryl Cash. She's great as well. And then she has her bio. Like I mentioned, you can pause it or you can read it on our website, u.osu.edu/GCLC under faculty. And so with that, I do want to recommend reach out to them before the semester starts, introduce yourself, let them know you're part of the GCLC, and potentially ask them, how you can do well in their course, different requirements or things, and just get to know them a little bit more on a personal basis to build that rapport. And I'd recommend doing that for all your classes your first semester. So building that rapport is important because, as the semester goes on, let's say you miss a week because you're sick or something up comes, the instructor is going to know, hey, you made that first initial contact to, introduce yourself, build rapport, and they know that you want to do well in their course. They're going to take the extra step of, supporting you if you need it. Another piece of advice I would offer is the first week, if you don't already have a planner or some sort of app on your phone, get one. And then during the first week, when you get all your syllabi, take the day just to put all of it in, a planner or your app. So any class times you have, assignments, projects for the whole semester, this will help you out in planning in advance and kind of helping avoid time management and procrastination issues earlier on, but that way each week you just need to very quickly update it rather than go through and check your syllabi every week, and that way nothing goes unmissed. So we are towards the end of our information session. So like I said, my email was at the beginning of this presentation. It'll also be on the very last slide, so I'll show you that. So if you have any questions from today, just let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have or comments. But this is our GCLC agreement, so what you're going to need to do now is scan it, or you can copy the link below. It's also listed on our website under accepted students, and then you should have received it potentially in an email as well. So scan this. This is basically saying you agree to be in the GCLC. You heard everything that we talked about today during our information session, and you plan on attending, registering for classes as well. And then this is our GCLC GroupMe. You can scan the QR code, link is below. It's also on our website and should have been sent to you in an email. GroupMe is mostly because if I have to send a quick message, you are able to get it rather than sending out a mass email. Students are not always the best with checking their email, so make sure you keep checking that on a regular basis. But we'll be sure, by the end of your first week, if you are not registered for the GroupMe or the Buckeye Mail, I will be reaching out to you just to make sure you have done those things, as well as completing your agreement and signing that. Some of our last items are going to be your to-dos, so sign and turn in that GCLC agreement before the first week. join the GCLC group meet, complete your financial responsibility statement, which most of you should have already done if you've attended an orientation by now. This will allow you to register for classes. It's basically saying that you are financially responsible for paying back any tuition you owe for the courses you take. And then attend the summer social event if you can. I really hope you do if you're able to. And then ask questions, reach out to your LC staff and faculty. Like I said, my door is always open. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Students come and ask me questions all the time. It could be as simple as, where is there a good place to eat around the Newark campus? Or I've had students even ask me where to buy windshield wipers and how to apply them. So when I say reach out, please reach out. I always stress proactive versus reactive. So any questions you have that are going to make your life easier, if you have the answer to, definitely send us a message. That concludes our information session today, so thank you for tuning in. My email again is more.3541@osu.edu, so make sure you send me an email if you have questions, comments, or concerns. Do not send it to @buckeyemail.osu.edu. I do not get those messages in a timely manner because it's my student email. And please, from going forward, since you are an OSU student, do not send me any messages from your personal email. I cannot reply to those due to FERPA regulations to protect you, so send me any emails you have through GroupMe or through your Buckeye Mail account. And then my phone number is there. I'm not always in my office because I'm often running around campus, so the best way to reach me will be email or by GroupMe. So thank you all. I look forward to this upcoming year. Please reach out to me, introduce yourself, stop by my office, but just know that we're here to support you, and we are excited to get to know you this upcoming year.